Hello, Homeworthy. I'm Christiana. Welcome to my London home. I can't wait to show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Scan the QR code to subscribe to our new channel, Wedding Worthy, where we celebrate amazing couples and the love stories behind their perfect day.
Hello, I'm Christiana Kehrer. I'm an interior designer. Welcome to my London home in Kensington. I started off actually working in fashion, and then it was quite a gradual move into interior design. During COVID, I was living in Milan. I was always very much inspired by design and arts, and it was just a gradual move into interiors. I was looking for a place in London for quite some time. I bought it 2 years ago. It was in quite a desperate need of attention, and I renovated it over a period of 6 months. And I had been living in London 2 years prior, and I was very lucky to have found it. I was looking for a period property, and this area here is actually a conservation area, and this is a late Victorian home. And I really loved the bones of the property, and I really thought it had potential, but it was really needing attention and care, and I wanted a project which I can do up. I did want to maintain the period character it had, so definitely there was some cornicing, so I tried to bring in some more details where I could. Things like hard finishes, there was carpet everywhere, so I stripped that out. I brought wooden flooring in, and I repainted everything, put wallpaper in, and redid the kitchen and bathrooms, so pretty much everything was redone. Welcome to my living room. So basically the space connects the dining area with the living room. And I really wanted to create a sunny, inviting space. As London doesn't have a lot of sunny daylight, I also like to think of it as a sunroom to really enhance the light. So for the walls, I decided on a lime wash finish. What is really magical is how actually the light hits the walls. It's actually called white truffle, the color. It's all breathable paint I used throughout the property. And to actually really enhance it, I used this kind of darker color, which is inspired by Scottish beaches, to really embrace the off-white tone I used. So yes, and I painted the ceiling and the cornicing white to really embrace that color. And I like how the lime wash finish gives a little bit of a rustic feel. It's not too polished, and I think it ages really nicely. Then another thing I designed this custom sofa, and I wanted a really traditional sofa which ages well. And I like how it has a bit of a relaxed, slouchy feel. It's really comfortable, and I used 2 fabrics here to add a bit of intrigue and interest to it. I did add a few Victorian elements to this property because it is a Victorian property. So this actually is a reproduction antique, but it is inspired by the arts and craft movement. And I thought it actually looks quite lovely with the lampshade. Actually, I hand painted the leaf trim on the lampshade. And to give it a bit of a modern feel, I like to use modern art throughout the property as well. Another piece I designed was this ottoman, which is octagonal, and I quite think it has an interesting shape. And it's very handy. You can use it to put your feet up, but you can also place coffees or drinks there. The joinery was already existing, this one here, so I left it. And I enhanced it with using 2 tones of paint color. I saw this in a Cornish country house, and I was really inspired. I think it adds a really lovely touch. This club fender was also this bespoke design with a local artisan, and I think it's really lovely how that fabric is enhanced by the gimp trim. It kind of really enhances the fabric, which I think is lovely. So for the fireplace, this was also quite plain existing jamb, so I just chose to paint it to kind of enhance the ironwork, which I think is interesting. And this mirror here is quite bold. I do like to use contrast in interiors. It is actually from the same year as the construction year of the property, which I thought is quite a match made in heaven. And this plaster piece here is actually Regency inspired. And I think it's just lovely, these 2 sphinx overlooking the room. And these vases here are actually from Sicily. And I think it's nice to mix mid-century with antiques to create this very layered and effortless look. These blue chairs here, I had actually reupholstered already twice. I bought them in Milan, I saw them in the shop and I fell in love with them. The shop did close, so I'm very lucky I got my hands on them. I love the shape and I call them like cocktail chairs. They're really smart, and I liked using a piping on them to create this polished look. And also this antique brass French table is actually from the 1960s, and it gives a bit of that Mad Men feel. So again, I do really like to use antiques from all periods to create a very playful but also very interesting look. Transitioning over to this side, here's my dining area. So actually I created a bespoke joinery bench, which is great for extra storage. And also I really wanted an oval dining table. And it was quite tricky to work it out with the chairs. These are also custom made to actually to be able to seat everyone at the right heights with the bench and the chairs. I think it's really lovely that scallop trim on the chairs creates a bit of a cheerful aesthetic, and I do like a bit of contrast again here. So from the black mirror to the dark dining table, it looks quite smart, I think. And these little cafe blinds here, they actually have squirrels on them, which I think are quite fun. I love a piping, I love a fringe. All of the cushions you see are also bespoke. I love to design them. And when it comes to curtain treatments, again, here there is this bigger pelmet. It's actually decorative, but I think it gives quite an inviting, and it has a bit of a theatrical feel to it, which I really like. And these sunshades you see, they're from the Philippines. I added another trim on there just because I love trims. And this reproduction beautiful convex globe is definitely one of my favorite pieces of the home. I think it really brings everything together, and it's just, I can see it hanging there forever. It's a very timeless piece. Then also, I love to source antique frames. This one is from the 1940s from Montparnasse. And I really also enjoy painting myself. So I do abstract landscape paintings. So I painted a pair of two just to kind of give a nice frame to the dining area. And when it comes to color schemes, as you can see, it's quite fresh and neutral, but there are tones of color. I use a sage green, a little bit of blue, which is also picked up again in the chairs and the cushions. And there are some yellow tones as well. So I do like to have a little bit of harmony and cohesion throughout the property. I'm definitely influenced by old world charm and a very effortless, but also very approachable aesthetic. So I personally, I don't like to follow trends or fashion. I like a home to age in a very authentic way. So I like to mix and match old and new, but also for the base to be historically quite relevant. So to kind of focus and enhance the details, such as cornicing and joinery, and kind of to layer that up and work from that to elevate the place. And also I like every room to be quite unique, so I will change colors throughout the home. There's a sense of cohesion, but in style in general, I would say. But it's definitely, every room is very much its own space. The dressing area before was a small second bedroom, but I needed to enhance storage, so I went for a dressing room. The joinery, I chose this I was very much inspired by autumn, by the beautiful colors of autumn. So I chose this golden olive color. Again, all throughout the property, I used breathable eco paint, which I just think it's very important to also have a sustainable paint throughout the home. It's also healthier for yourself. And I wanted to create a little area here, a dressing area, but you can also work from there, take a phone call, get ready. And I really liked adding these lovely wall lights here with a pop of blue for the shade. I think it really gives a beautiful little touch to the room. And then I have this little seating area again. I love window seats with a little cafe curtain. I think it's a lovely corner to retrieve and just read a book. For the curtains, I chose these relaxed Roman blinds. again with a tassel because I love trims, and this is a beautiful fabric I sourced from one of my favorite wall covering companies, Ixa, and I think it just really drapes well and it gives a lot of character to the room. And for the panels of the joinery, I chose this hem from Philip Jeffries, which I think it actually quite kind of freshens up the olive paint, so it doesn't make it look too dark or too heavy. I didn't want a wallpaper to be too overempowering, but when you come in, I chose to have this wall covered in this wallpaper by Robert Keim. I think it's really lovely and has this kind of patinated effect, so it looks like it has been here forever. And yeah, I think it just really adds a lovely touch in an unexpected way. And then I also have over here, I have a small ensuite, which is just to be used for guests. But yeah, it's got some little curtains and a vanity in there, which is good to have. In the cloakroom, I sourced this lovely little basin, which I really like. It is quite narrow, but it's very traditional, and I think it has a very timeless feel. And together with this 1960s bamboo tiger mirror, which is really interesting. And for a bit of contrast, I love placing the navy striped wall light, which gives a bit of a marine feel as well. So as a designer, I really like to think about how your home will be used on a daily basis, and then looking at the actual bones of the property. So if it's a historical property, it's nice to work around that. But as a designer, I think you definitely need to lay out a pattern and to really look at colors and prints you like, artworks you like. Sometimes I look at an artwork and I'm inspired by a fabric, and this is how I arrange a color scheme. Or you can even get inspired by, I got inspired by a Georgian country house for a scheme for the joinery to really embrace some details. So it's picking up things you like and seeing over time, and also during travels, which is really to create an individual, authentic home for yourself. Welcome to my bedroom. So I really wanted this place to be quite intimate and a little bit different than the rest of the house. I really think this is a room where you can experiment. So I went for this navy, almost navy black kind of joinery paint, which kind of has a marine atmosphere to it. Also, I used this caramel raw silk wallpaper, which I think has this really beautiful cocooning effect. It makes the room really inviting. These are Victorian chromolithographs, which I think this botanical feel gives it a bit of a feminine touch to the room, because actually it's got quite a few masculine elements with all the navy wooden work. So I chose also to paint the cornicing in the navy color to match it with the door and the joinery, to a bit of cohesion throughout. Another piece I really love and I designed was the headboard. So it's this lovely vintage effect emerald velvet with actually a really lovely print on the outside, which is enhanced by a red leather trim. I really love lampshades, and these I also custom designed with a trim on them. And I love the little rattan base. I think it looks really smart and polished. Then when it comes to joinery, I really loved creating this bronze effect look with an antique mirror. So it really brings out the warmth and the glow of the room together with the caramel wallpaper. Kind of needed an aircon in the summer, so I was hiding in this joinery piece my aircon unit. I do love the grille detail on it, which is also cohesive to the window seat. This actually was a gift of my dad. He sourced this antique map of Italy at an auction, and I had it framed, and I've been having, I had it since over 10 years. I love it. I bring it everywhere I go with me. The bay window seating is something I really like to embrace in a property. I love how all the navy wooden work actually, together with the contrast of the white houses, creates a very strong contrast and kind of ethereal feel. Again, I use sunshades, and that lovely mustard golden tone really works well with the navy. It really embraces that. I really love cushions and sofas and trims. So I use this lovely striped fabric from Della Quona to upholster the window seat with a trim on here. Again, this golden color, which really works well with the navy. And for the curtains, I chose this beautiful kind of, it's a merino wool. And it's actually hemmed with a lovely tobacco herringbone. Again, it has a bit of that masculine look to aesthetic to it. And then I used the striped sisal, which is very timeless, which I think was really nice and is harmonious with the colors of the room. And also to add a bit of a modern feel to the room, I chose this artwork by a Dutch painter actually. And I had it framed in a brass bronze kind of patinated frame, which I think looks really lovely and works well with the wallpaper. And for the curtain pelmets, I used this lovely, kind of reminded me of my childhood. I grew up by the woods. It's got that lovely forest color. So I use this kind of pine-colored trim, which I think looks really good. And I used also an antique 1920s boat mirror, which again enhances the kind of maritime feel of the room. And another piece I really love is this 1920s, this Art Deco alabaster dish light. Again, the navy of the rose, which I had painted a navy as well, with a golden antique robe. I think it just looks really clever together. And I love how it has a strong V and how it glows. And now come, I'll show you my ensuite. Okay, so this was quite a small space, and actually I opened up the ceiling a bit and I actually discovered old cornicing, which I found was really lovely. But unfortunately I couldn't restore it, so I put in a similar one with an acanthus sleeve, which is relevant for the Victorian era. I sourced this century-inspired mirror, which is really lovely, and it's got some beading. I used this kind of cool sky gray tone, which I really love for the joinery. And to kind of make it not too cold, I chose to use antique brass for the hardware. As you can see, also the tab is inspired by Art Deco. It has this beautiful streamlined finish, but again, a quite traditional look, which I love. And for the lampshades, I added another trim on here, and I think it just adds a lovely finishing touch to it. And the splashback also has a curve. I like the detailing in the marble and how it just really elevates the space. Even though it's very small, I like to make the most out of every space. Welcome to the entrance of my home. As you can see, it's quite a small entrance, but I still wanted to create an inviting atmosphere for guests. So I created these pelmet curtains and with a lot of detail just to give a kind of interesting character and also to enhance the view, which is quite lovely outside. I didn't really have a lot of space for storage here, so I created this quite slim joinery piece with local joiners. And I really like the antique mirror finish here, so it kind of enhances a character of the property. And I really wanted to embrace the view with the curtains and the pelmet and like the subtle detailing, like the fringes, a change in fabric, and a lovely trim to frame the window. So I do like adding antiques to a place. So I had sourced this antique mirror from an estate sale, and I think it's really lovely. It adds a bit of character and touch to the property. And there's a little shoe bench where you can hide away shoes with a lovely fabric. And also the corbel you can see here is from the 1920s. I got it at a flea market in Paris, and I had it repainted in the same joinery color just to create a bit of cohesion in the space. Another thing I did was to actually, because there was beautiful arch, to create a bespoke frame. And this plasterwork is actually period relevant because I used an acanthus motif, which you can also see in the cornicing above. So I wanted to create a sense of harmonious continuity throughout the property. For the flooring, it was all carpet before, so I decided on this continuous basket weave pattern, which I've seen in French chateaus before, but usually they come in a square, and I just wanted to have a bit of continuous flow also because the property isn't very big. So just to enhance the space. So I really think what gives a home a soul is the process of layering, and you can't really do it from one day to the next, but a home should reflect your soul, your story. So it will evolve over time, and to really embrace that, your different stages of life. Every room, I mean, you know, you could also change a function of a room, obviously, you know, once you have a family or depending on your life, on your current life stage. But I think it's beautiful to collect beautiful pieces over time to create an interesting and sophisticated space. Welcome to my small kitchenette. I also call it the butler's pantry. It's very small, but it's got everything you need. Everything was stripped in here, and I put in a fresh bespoke kitchen which suited the proportions of this quite small space. I used this kind of, this is a custom paint I created with the kitchen makers. It's like an old pistachio, I call it. I think it's really lovely. Again, I used a oval antique brassware, which I use throughout, which I think is really nice, and it really gives that patinated feel. I use this wall light. It's actually burgundy color, and I think it really just adds that little special something to the kitchen. I love how the antique brass is unlacquered, so it really ages over time. Again, it kind of creates that sense of nostalgia, and I think it's really beautiful. And then I also have some little shelving over here. I love my supplements and herbs and spices. So this is great for storage and just a handy little thing to have. So for the splashback, I decided to use these Mexican hand-painted tiles. I myself have Peruvian roots. So I wanted to add a little bit of a South American twist to the quite traditional kitchen as well. And I think the navy really brings out the lovely sage tone of the kitchen. And I really like, how it gives that kind of timeless feel to the kitchen, and yeah, it just works well. So home, it means everything to me. It's the core of our lives. It brings people together. It's a place where you're supposed to retrieve. I really like a sense of a tranquil home, but also home where you're comfortable to entertain. So it's definitely it should feel like a warm embrace. All right, Homeworthy, it was great showing you my home in London. Thank you, bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.